I never thought that would happen. Like, you could have never told me. Like, during the relationship, if you had said, this is what's gonna happen in the end, I would not have believed it. I was so in shock.
It didn't bother me that he was interested in others or wanted to experience things with others, but I think on his end, there's still some jealousy or possessiveness that he needed to work through.
Hello there, lovers. Today's video is brought to you in partnership by my favorite OKCUPID. That was so Oprah of me, but I'll take it. Okay, I'll take the comparison. Nobody compared you. You compared yourself, and that's how that worked. What do you do after a massive heartbreak when you have lost faith in love and your ability to find it? Where do you go next? How do you begin again? And I wanted to answer that question not just by telling you, but by showing you with two incredible women, Nia and Sukhpreet, who had both just gotten out of an open relationship and were finding it really difficult to find the strength to start all over again.
And I found that while dating, I'm kind of scared of emotions because I'm like, oh my God, I can get hurt again.
Then I re-strategized their ideals around breakups and gave them a 5-step program that I want to share with all of you as well too, when it comes to not just getting over your last relationship, but getting better as a result of your last relationship. And then finally, I took them through OKCUPID step by step, remade their profile, we did some swiping, and we made some pretty stellar matches. The reason why I chose OKCUPID to help these women get back into the swing of things is because it's the best damn dating app on the planet, since it matches people on what matters to them. And I also want to help you match on what matters to you, specifically if you're watching this video, because you can personally relate. So go in the info box and download OKCUPID right now. At the end of the video, I'll give you more details on how I'm doing outreach specifically for you guys. But before we get to that, let's start with these two women and what they're currently going through emotionally. Do you consider this to be your worst heartbreak on the scale of what you've experienced?
Oh, honestly, this is probably my worst. This is the most emotional, like, it was so depressing.
This was your first major relationship?
Yeah.
So was this also like your first heartbreak?
Yes. We moved to New York together, we traveled together. He was kind of my best friend, and in a time period where I didn't really have support from my family, it kind of felt like he was my family too. But this past year, in the fall, I decided to move to Los Angeles, and I asked him if he wanted to go with me, and he tried, but it didn't really work out for him in the same way that it did for me.
He was an exchange student at UCLA. I wanted to continue the relationship once he left. We had a mutual agreement to do so, but the weekend that he was, like his last weekend here, he went out of town and spent it with somebody else. Like, I know I love him, but it was just the fact that I was always putting him first before myself.
And the thing about this is that this wasn't like he went out of town, he went to a bar, met somebody and felt a connection. He deliberately decided to go to spend his last few days in this country with someone else.
Exactly.
But then came back to you and said, but it's you I still want to be with.
Yeah.
Even when I moved here, I was like, let's try an open relationship, and that's kind of something we were like moving into even before I left. I wouldn't necessarily mind monogamy, but I also think a part of me is like suited for something that is more towards like polyamory or something more open. I don't think love should be possessive or jealous. Okay, I guess in terms of desire, I don't think desire should be repressed necessarily, and I think over the course of that relationship, I kind of like quelled a part of myself that was more curious or expressive or just social, because I knew that it kind of bothered my partner.
Well, the caveat to this relationship is that you guys were open.
Yeah.
So explain that element to me and why this was a betrayal, even though you guys had agreed you could see other people.
So we did agree to be open. It was more so sexually than emotionally. And with him in his head, he was like, this is some girl that I've fallen in love with. So the fact that it was more so an emotional thing and him going out of his way to go see this person and not telling me, I was mad that he didn't tell me.
I don't disbelieve that exes can't get back together, but I do believe you have to end the relationship that you had before and completely end that relationship and heal from that relationship, and then you could try to move into something different with new terms that are fresher and that honor who people actually are. So you broke up with the relationship as it was.
Right.
You immediately tried, which I don't recommend, but you immediately tried to rebuild and restructure a brand new relationship, and he said no to that one.
Yeah.
Did that surprise you?
Maybe not surprised, it just really hurt. And it made the decision of moving here even harder, but I had to do it for myself. But I didn't expect to feel so strongly still. I was just like, wow, I still love this person. And none of these feelings have gone away, but we're not in a relationship, so that's that. I guess that just makes me think about sacrifice, because like it could have worked if I stayed, but I would have been sacrificing my own growth to continue a relationship, which was disappointing.
It could have worked if he allowed you to leave and chose long distance and open, but then he would have been sacrificing what he needs in order to feel loved and fulfilled in an intimate relationship. I think it's very difficult to have a relationship go from monogamy to open completely seamlessly, because there is so much to unpack. When two people come together and they both agree they want open, that means they've done that work by themselves, come to that decision, and now that's a choice they're ready to say yes to. But when you're in a position where you've said yes to a certain kind of love that's been reinforced through media and through your parents and through cultures and customs for so long, to make that adjustment really suddenly, I think very few people can do that and should be expected to do that.
And we did talk after that. We did still kind of talk as a couple, and we did remain friends because he really wanted to be friends. But
and once again, you spared his feelings by...
I did. I was like, I do love you, so I still want to keep you in my life. But in the end, like, we didn't even remain friends. Like, we don't even talk anymore.
So going forward, do you want to seek out partners who want an open relationship as well? It's
not a main criteria, but I think one thing that I really want is someone who's not going to be jealous or possessive.
You sound exactly like me. I mean, like it's funny because, you know, our version of open essentially means like it's always your decision. I think when people think open, they think it's the constant engagement of that option. Like if I'm open, then I'm always seeing someone else, or I'm always seeking out other physical connections. But to me, open just means creating a space where anything could happen depending on what you feel is right for you as an individual.
Yeah.
And especially in a society that does put a certain pressure on people to take control of their partner and take control of their partner's choices, I think in order to find somebody who's compatible with what you're looking for, they have to embrace that term in some capacity.
In the beginning of the relationship, I was very self-confident, like very secure in myself. And I saw that all fall apart just from being with this person. So just also being able to focus on me is something I think is very important.
Well, we're gonna go through 5 steps that I made up this morning that are going to, I hope, give you a strong foundation, not just to get over this, but to get better because of this. And the first thing I want you to do is throw out 3 words for me, which is heartbreak, love, and missing. Would you associate that with your ex?
Yeah.
So the reason I want to rebrand those words is because I think that there's a more accurate way to describe how you feel as you're moving into this new phase and moving out of that relationship. The first is getting rid of the word heartbreak. I think the word break obviously stems to something being broken, something needing to be fixed. And ultimately, we are pair bonding mammals, and you are designed to connect with somebody in that very deep way. And you were actually designed to break up with that person and move on and find different primates to connect with. And so you're really not broken right now, you're just going through a strengthening exercise. You are practicing this routine. You are learning what it feels like to be fond of someone, to give yourself to somebody, and then to lose that connection while still keeping yourself. The word missing, I want you to adjust with withdrawing, right? So as you know, again, it's a psych major. Love is a neurological condition that is addictive, right? Like you have been chemically bonded with somebody on such a high level. And so you're naturally going to miss them, but truly that is withdrawing of the addiction. If you quit cigarettes, I wouldn't expect that next week you'd be fine. I wouldn't expect that in 2 months you wouldn't still have some urge. Does that mean that you and cigarettes are meant for each other?
No.
No, it just means that you are an addict and it takes some time for it to get out of your system. And while there are parts of that person that you still value, you really aren't missing anything because you have everything you need right here. And the last and hardest one is getting rid of love. So I think love is an overused word.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and love to me, while love, yes, does have some properties of it of just altruism, there also has to be reciprocity in there, right? Like in order for you to love somebody, you have to love the experience of them. You have to love what they've done for you, love who they are in your life. And that's difficult to really do with an ex, especially somebody who's treated you wrong. And so while you may have loved them and had a period of time of loving them, at this present time, they don't provide any value to you. They don't have any long-term benefits, and they don't see you for who you truly are and want to uplift you. So if anything, right now, you're still just addicted, right? So whenever you think about like, I still love, you're just like, I'm still addicted. The second thing I was gonna do is just kind of honor your decision to make that break and to really make it clear why it didn't work. So if you could write down for me the specific things that you think character-wise or incompatibility-wise, why this relationship did not work and is not going to work.
Character flaws, selfishness.
So I wrote possessiveness, jealousy, resentment, passive aggressiveness, a difference in what one desires in a partner, and physical distance.
Our love languages were a little off. I really value quality time. So I really like spending time with whoever like I love. And he would kind of be like overwhelmed by it.
I think as we changed over those 6 years, our ideas of love and relationships also changed. So we weren't really meeting each other's needs anymore.
I would see him following the crowd a lot, even if it was not the right thing to do. Even if he like knew it wasn't the right thing to do, or even if he didn't want to do it, he would still do it because everybody else was doing it. That was something that I really just didn't like.
Honoring one's truth by discerning when a relationship has run its course, listening to my intuition, valuing my needs and fulfillment, learning to say no, and encouraging and inspiring my partner to be themselves, even if that means our relationship will change.
When he got angry, it was like, we're gonna break up. Like he'd made up his mind before we had a conversation.
You know what I think we're discovering? This is just not the right person at all. Sometimes you find the right person and they have all the right attributes, but it's just the wrong time, one, or two, they don't feel the same way about you.
Yeah.
That happens. It's happened to me a ton of times. It was the right feelings, the right qualities, just ultimately the wrong pairing. This case is just wrong. So what's great about that is I think moving forward, there's a lot to learn from, and then also there's more reason to get over this breakup with more confidence and with less doubt in yourself. The next thing I'm gonna ask you to do, is there an email chain, a text conversation, something that is indicative of this list that you made? Something that really exemplifies all of these things that make it not work?
Yeah, I deleted all of them. But there's this one specific moment that I really think of a lot that kind of just disgusted me, which was the first time I was ever kind of just like, you can't honestly think like that. Like, how can you think like that?
So I think what's important about those conversations, and for anybody who's going through a recent breakup, I agree, deleting a lot can be important, but I think keeping a record of a conversation that really exemplifies why this didn't work. This is what I did massively after my breakup, because every time I felt the urge to talk to that person, because again, I was an addict who was withdrawing, I'd want to reach out. But instead of reaching out, I would just reread an email. And it would give me that dose of connecting with them in some capacity, because I could hear their voice again. I could picture how they'd say things, but it would also remind me why ultimately this was never going to work. The next thing I want you to do, which hopefully at this point you've done, I feel like you have because you're so incredibly emotionally intelligent, I'm just blown away by you. Do you have an accountability partner? Someone that you can talk about this to, talk to this to, and somebody who is aware of this list and knows why this isn't a relationship that you should slide back into.
I feel like I have fragmented accountability partners. Like I don't have one specific person who does it fully, but I think now that I've been talking to my friends more, they're also kind of like, no, you shouldn't return to that.
Like my two roommates, my friends, I talk to them a lot. If I ever have that urge or that feeling, or if I just need to talk about it, I talk to them. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I want you to actually share this list with them as well too.
Okay.
Because what your accountability partners do as well too is prevent you from making the same patterned mistakes. Because a lot of times people get out of a breakup, right? And they're like, it's that person. But that drive within themselves to seek out those qualities still exists. So even though you remove the individual, you haven't removed that root problem that was attracted to someone like that. And so when you tell your friends who are around you, they can remind you and be like, hey, your new partner is just a different haircut. It's the same shit, different packaging. So I want you to be as clear with them as possible about what your goals are, what you think your mistakes are, and what going forward you never want to do again. So with that being said, as we move into looking for a new partner and closing the chapter on this particular relationship, does that give you anxiety? Does the word close give you anxiety, or are you okay with it now?
I think I feel better now.
That's
especially
great.
after this discussion.
Yay, I'm happy to hear that. Okay, well now that we closing the door.
Okay, now that
Okay. I want you to identify your top 5. So as we use OKCUPID now to look for other matches for you, we're both going to swipe at the same time.
Okay.
And us having this top 5 will help to inform what we're looking for in a partner.
So I put 1, emotionally stable.
Ooh.
Yes, please. 2, securely attached. 3, sexually compatible. 4, faithful. And 5, similar interests.
Now that is fascinating.
Why?
Explain faithful.
So I was like teetering between trustworthy and then faithful. But I think someone having a strong faith in whatever it is that we're creating together is important to me, because that goes back to like that vision of what our relationship is.
So you didn't interpret faithful as honoring
Religious.
fidelity.
Oh.
So you mean full of faith, not necessarily faithful.
All right. Emotionally aware, smart, intelligent, trustworthy, adventurous, sexually compatible.
Gorgeous. This is a really beautiful concrete list. I think gives me a very clear idea of what kind of person that you're looking for. And so that being said, are you ready to look?
Yeah.
Okay, you're just not getting hype with me. It's just so you downloaded OkCupid at this point.
Okay.
We're going to create your profile from scratch because you're new to dating apps.
Yeah, I don't use dating apps at all.
You didn't use dating apps, but now you do. Okay, so now we're gonna go over to your profile and set that up.
Okay.
Because you've got a picture up there.
Yeah, I put some pics.
Cannot be a picture of you and your friend to start. Oh my
Okay,
God,
gotta
you
change
know
it.
this. All right, so here's some tips for a great first photo. Use magic hour lighting. Have a pop of color. Lean into sensuality versus sexuality, and tell your story. Will you do me the honors of reading your about me?
course.
And let me know if we have to make some tweaks or if I'm hella on point.
If you want to do something crazy, I've got suggestions. I'm from New York, currently in my senior year at UCLA, and lived a whole other life in Atlanta. Ask me about it. I'm a psych major who's an overthinker and loves it. Let's connect if you want to overanalyze the last movie you saw. That's perfect.
Yay!
I love that. Usually in bios, I'm just like, hi, text me.
But when you think about what you're looking for in a partner, you want to exemplify the traits that you also value.
Yeah.
Ask me about medium format film photography. I put your little rock star emoji there. I'm an artist, but I'm not sensitive about my shit. I think of you as somebody who's in a learning phase, who's like open to hearing and open to growing. But you might be sensitive about your shit.
No, I've actually wanted people to be more brutally honest with me. Because even as this relationship has ended, there's those people who are just like, finally. I'm like, why didn't you say anything? Why did you wait to say something? You should have said something.
So now we have to answer some questions. We're gonna try and go quick on this.
Okay.
How long do you want your next relationship to last? 1 night, a few months, several years, the rest of your life?
I think to that extent, because I've really been just talking to people and thinking about what love looks like for my generation, and no one really has long-term committed relationships. I guess I'm wondering like what level of commitment can I find? Because that seems like something that isn't really present.
Somebody actually said this to me once. They're like, is there no difference between ready and wanting to find the person you're going to marry or spend the rest of your life with and just fooling around and figuring yourself out? Like, is there nothing in between? Like, are there no ethical people who are saying, look, I'm not ready for that long-term commitment. However, I do want to have a healthy, positive exchange that mirrors the feelings I would give to my potential lifelong partner, right? Like, we're in practice, right? Like, that's the thing. In practice, you're supposed to do the same drills, exercises, and techniques you're going to do in the game. But a lot of people treat it like, well, it's just practice, so I'm going to fuck around and be an asshole. I think what you're looking for is people who are ethical practicers. And having that faith that that can happen is big. I always say to people, like, whatever you think is true, I believe you. If you don't think that there's gonna be someone who's gonna commit long term, you're probably correct, because you're gonna be moving in an operation where you're like, well, I'm just gonna be a bit of a motel dater, meaning I'm gonna date as if I'm gonna leave tomorrow because this person's never gonna stay. So I would just probably recommend that you don't worry about that. You just worry about being great to good people. And then if it lasts a day, great. If it lasts 20 years, awesome.
Are you ready to settle down and get married right now? Absolutely no way. Get married, yes. Settle down, no. Get married, no. Settle down, yes. I'd say get married, no. Settle down, yes.
Which word describes you better, carefree or intense? I think you were going to say intense. Yeah. And an intense person would be like overanalyzing this, so let's go with that. Your ideal person, carefree or intense?
Also intense, I guess.
I'd say carefree. I'm definitely carefree.
And do you want an intense or carefree partner?
Maybe a little bit of both.
You can click both. All right, choose the better romantic activity. Kissing in Paris, kissing in a tent in the woods.
Kissing in a tent in the woods.
Paris.
Is jealousy healthy in a relationship?
No.
Your ideal person?
No.
No, it's not healthy, but it's normal.
So those were just 15 that you have to answer when you sign up, but there's over 1,000 more. So if ever you're at a time when you've gone on a few dates and you're just not getting the right person, even going back to the questions to redefine what it is that you're looking for makes it easier on those dates to know what to be asking for. Okay, we're finding great people for you now.
Oh.
So just tell me when you find a yes, and then you can explain to me why so I can learn you a bit better, and then I'll show you somebody if I think that they're a yes for you. He works in real estate, speaks English, some French, and a lot of other things. If money were no concern, what would he be doing? Traveling.
That's important.
So
I like that.
Is he a yes?
Yeah, he's a yes.
Okay. Oh, you both like each other.
Yay.
Look at that, and you just signed up? So we're actually going to message him because women who message are 2.5 times more likely to get a response. And plus you're a pro, so you already know what to say, so why would you waste time? Okay, so I got bonjour. I speak a petite amount of French, but down to learn more. Can you teach me something that will make me sound like a pro? So like you've left it open-ended, so now he could say something dirty, he could say something funny, he could say something educational. So you're kind of just testing to see where his mind goes first. I think that the idea of testing has a bad rep in relationships. Like, was this some kind of test? Yeah, motherfucker. I'm trying to figure out if I should invest a really important part of myself in you. Okay, walk me through why he might be a yes.
I like beards.
The important thing to do when you're messaging somebody on dating apps is you want to reference something in their actual profile because it makes it clear that you pay attention and that this isn't a copy and paste message. Okay, I'm into Melanie. Easy, outgoing, outspoken, and down for random adventures. I like listening to music and dance. I also like going on hikes.
Love a good hike.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So yeah? Okay, this sounds promising. He's got long hair, born in Venezuela. He works with lights in the film industry. He's an INTJ, which I love people who know their Myers-Briggs. He loves meeting new people, going on damn good dates, and seeing new places with new people who know what's good to see.
Sounds fun.
This sounds like a good one.
Creating the life I've dreamed of in California. Grew up in Europe, moved to America when I was 8, recently graduated, and I'm now working in digital consumer marketing. I think values are an enormous part of a relationship. So in the spirit of openness, here are some of my core values.
This person's making it very clear that like, oh, we'll be talking until 4 a.m.
And this is what I want.
Yes, so yes. Okay, I just think for look, this might be an interesting take for you.
I like to take photos of him.
Hey, do you want to swipe it?
Yeah.
All right, what about Cristiano?
Look, it's like literally.
Oh, we're on the same one.
Give him a chance.
Right?
Yeah.
Want to do the same time?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Swipe.
That should give us some kind of like super swipe powers.
I know.
All right, that's it. We're actually going to message everyone that you like.
Okay.
Thank you to Supreet and to Nia for trusting me, not just with their stories, but with their heart. And I am more than confident that I've placed them in good hands now that they're officially OKCUPIDers, which I'm not sure that's actually a term. But anyhow, to all my fellow OKCUPIDers who are watching this video right now, if you went ahead and downloaded the app, in the info box. Send me a screenshot of that and then tweet me or Instagram me a short blurb of where you're at emotionally. I'm gonna be choosing 5 people to work with one-on-one to curate your profile for you. So I'm looking forward to seeing and hearing a lot from you guys. And remember, go in the info box and download that link from me so you can start matching on what matters to you. Peace.
Yeah, I used to think about you when I had no one to talk to. Hella bougie, kinda moody, bouncing when you walk through. And you used to get that Brazilian wax. Yeah, I put